Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast, number 2 on the charts, but number 1 in your hearts. I'm your host, Wesley, and of course, I am joined by my cheerful co-host,
Rebekah.
And we have a special guest today, the winner of Survivor 47, Rachel herself. Rachel, how you doing?
Hi, Wesley. I'm good. I liked this episode. I feel like there's a lot going on, and that's exciting to be able to talk about. So very happy to be here.
This is definitely the episode to have you on for. As we watched it, you know, we knew the split tribal was coming because of, I saw the ads on TV, but I didn't know they were going to do, you know, not a Saul level advantage, but definitely a crazy advantage for Savannah. So we're going to go through the episode chronologically, but we got to talk about that. And this is a great week to have you on for sure. So, I mean, let's go through this. As always, everybody, there's chapter markers here on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, I guess you just gotta like flow through the episode as we do. All right, well, let's start right off in the beginning. Sophie admits to Steven she voted for him. By Sophie, I mean Sophi B. I guess I should clarify. I did, by the way, the theme song. Did you guys notice this? I think it just said Soph. Did you notice that, Rebekah?
I didn't notice the theme song, but I did notice the lower third during her confessionals changed. Which I'm like, I thought Sophie S was going to be gone tonight and we would stop having this confusion, but here we are. So yeah, they did update at least the lower thirds for sure.
Did you see that, Rachel?
I didn't notice that. And I'm wondering, was it Sophie initially? Like, is she the first person to get a name change mid-season, or is that something that happened way back when?
Ooh.
I do know that Fabio in season 21 was Judd for an episode or two, and then they changed him to Fabio.
I do think that the lower third has changed because, like, the general wasn't the general. Like, there's definitely like some things like that where, but I'm wondering, like, in the theme, like, why am I blanking on? Yeah, in the credit, the intro. God. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I know a lot of times like the subtitle during their lower thirds will change of like their like the job that they did or something, like if they mention something new or different.
Like
or like
Debbie.
Who was it? Yeah, Debbie, that's who it was.
Yeah.
There's someone that I knew that was like a running gag. Yeah.
No, I'm 99% sure they did it for Nicaragua. This was back in the time when they would re-edit the theme song almost every week to update who like the jury was and just who was remaining in the game. They wouldn't put everybody in the game. They just put who's left in the game. They don't do that anymore. But I do remember Judd got changed to Fabio, like I think a week or two in. I could be wrong on that. Somebody could correct us in the comments, but I'm pretty sure. But I don't know of any other time, to be fair, of them changing a name in the theme song. And the only reason I even caught this because I'll give credit to my sister. She messaged me during the episode. She's like, "Did you notice?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." So now I'm saying it. If I'm wrong, my nameless sister will be to blame, but no, I'm sure she was right. She has an eye for detail. Anyways, I thought that was quite interesting. So I guess we should just call her Soph now because that's what the show's doing. I'll miss the days of Sophi B though.
I'm probably going to say Sophi B out of habit.
Yeah. Honestly, same. And I feel because I do follow her on Instagram and she did like post something about that she doesn't really like going by Soph. So because it does feel like this was kind of just thrust upon her in the show. Like, Sophie S was like, "Oh, you can be Soph," and so she just kind of had to go with it. So, I mean, yeah, whatever. I guess that's what the show's calling her. But yeah, I don't know. I think Sophi B has a better ring to it, in my opinion.
Well, first things first is it seems like coming out of the last episode into this one is that everybody's targets were on Rizgod and Savannah, but Sophi B basically told by Alex, nobody really cares about you. Not like nobody cares about you, but nobody cares about targeting you. And I felt like she kind of disappeared the rest of the episode after this conversation. I know she had the moment during the immunity challenge where she was doing a prayer. But other than that, I'm like, Sophi B, almost like purple Sophie tonight. What did you notice that, Rachel, or did she have a moment I missed it?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I do feel like I noticed I wrote a note that was like Sophi B's in with everyone, because even though the stage feels some way about Savannah and Rizzo, like it's like no, but Sophie's not a part of that, even though she's so a part of that, right? And I think she's done a really good job of integrating herself, and we're seeing that she has a very good social game. But I do I think because I noted that so strong in the beginning, I didn't really notice that she really dropped off. But you're right. I do think she did.
Which is a little concerning for our winner analysis, because I've had Sophi B ranked quite high all season, or Sophi B, whatever, quite high all season. But man, like this seemed like a very important episode, and she kind of got pushed to the side. So we'll talk about that. And of course, tomorrow we got the full winner analysis with Mary, but tonight we're just going to do our top 3. Okay, so let's move on past that. Rizgod talks to Savannah and Rebekah. I don't know if you caught this when he's talked to her, but he's like, Savannah, we can't be mad at these people. And I'm like, does he know who he's talking to? Savannah smiles and sees at everybody.
I know.
Rebekah, does he not know?
Yeah. I think that's maybe why he had to sit her down and have this conversation, be like, hey, listen, Savannah, we got to lock in. We got to not ruin this for ourselves. And I do have to say also, I felt like throughout this episode, we kind of saw Rizgod kind of become more and more like Savannah, at least in his eyes. I felt like by the end of this episode, we were getting crazy eyes from the Rizgod, and I love it. I'm here for it. I need more of this unhinged chaos.
Rachel, if you had heard Jeff offering a spot on 50, would you start giving crazy eyes and having a different energy about you as well? Because maybe that's what happened with Rizgod.
Mm.
You know, I don't. Yeah, I feel like I would have become Sage maybe, and just like my eyes would have rolled into the back of my skull. But
Sage sure did.
I don't know.
That, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, Sage just naturally. Sage is. I love her. So she's not acting. You could tell.
No.
Sage would have channeled her inner Jam and went poopy in the ocean just for fun. That's what Sage would have done. She's like, Jeff, is this good enough for 50? All right, let's move on from that, because some reviewers don't like when we get on the Sage rants, but it's so funny the fact how obsessed she is with bodily fluids, though they have curtailed that quite a bit here in the post merge. So then there's a search for MC's idol. Now, Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you found an idol or Beware Advantage on your season. Is that correct, or am I incorrect?
I got an idol, but I knew where it was. I didn't have to go searching for it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it was in the tarp, so I got the clue.
Can you give us perspective? Because Christina talks about how it's not easy to find an idol, but then what we see on our screen is it's right off the walking path at waist height. So to me, it looks easy, but I'm guessing this is a lot harder than it looks, because it never looks that hard, but I'm sure it is. But you have perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the reality is that the beach, they're not huge, but they're big enough that you can't, like, you couldn't even count every tree. You know, I mean, there's so many. So I think it always looks easy. And sometimes sometimes I watch it, I'm like, oh, that was actually quite easy. In this case, I think it was probably kind of hard. It was facing like away, it was on like not the path side, you know. It's really tough to tell. But you walk through, I'm trying to think of like a good example.
Yes,
that,
give
like,
us like
the real life,
Jeff.
because
I'm Jeff. I
and
need
a
you
good
to give me an
analogy.
analogy.
I'm trying to give you not even an analogy so much as just like a perspective of like what would be a place that you're looking for something that, you know, seems like it would be easy, but it's just not. I don't know. I think that it's a forest, you know. I mean, if you were to walk to your like local park and look around at all the trees and say there is a piece of paper that's like 4 by 6 somewhere here, not necessarily in a tree. It could be on the ground. It could be up somewhere. It could be under something.
Under a boat, apparently.
It's harder. It's harder than you think. It just takes a ton of time. It's not like it's impossible, but you kind of have to get lucky. You have to be very thorough. And most of the time you're trying to do it slyly, so you don't have that much time. So it's harder than it looks. I don't think it's impossible, but in this case, what frustrated me was that she saw it. It was tucked in there pretty good. I don't think it was super obvious. And I just don't understand why she didn't note that it was there, walk away, and go back and get it maybe later by yourself. Like, I didn't find an idol in this way, so I don't know. But to me, that the adrenaline of that moment, me finding the clue in my fries, like, I didn't immediately go, fries.
That's right.
Like,
You found the
I
idol
feel like there's this, like,
yeah.
Right. I found the clue in the fries. Yeah. So to me, it feels like you can, with some willpower, harness that emotion of the moment, the shock, the surprise, the excitement, and like bottle it and decide later if you want to tell people. Like, I don't even think this was a good group for her to find it with. Like, it just doesn't, to me, it's so frustrating because it did not feel like sometimes you're right next to someone and it's like, oh, well, they're going to find it if I don't, or they're going to see that I saw it and left it. And that's like, that's on me. In this case, I think she could have easily passed it over and gone back 10 minutes later and grabbed it. So those are the things to me, because in this case, it just feels like it's a waste kind of. I mean, this actually triggered something like, so MC, can you clarify for me? Because I wasn't sure. I didn't hear it fully like until after, and I was like, shoot, what did she say? Yeah. So did MC not tell everyone about the idol, or did she just not tell, like, when she was apologizing to Jawan, was that because she didn't tell him that she was going to play it, or is it because he didn't know she had it?
That's a great question. It seemed to me like not everyone knew MC had an idol before she played it, which, as we know, Rizgod told everybody and their mother, well, everyone and their mother now knows about his idol. But MC, I do think when she found it, it was a secret. And so I guess not everybody knew about it.
Like, Savannah knew she found it, and they were very opposite. Like, to me, just go back and tell everyone yourself. Why are you letting Savannah share your news, build social goodwill with people when everyone's going to find out anyway? Like, I don't understand why she didn't tell everybody, especially the people she was voting with.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of another example of, like, maybe MC should have picked her moment a little bit better with, like, going, like, once the clue was hidden and she could actually go get the key. Like, I don't know that I would have done that immediately after hitting the beach, because the way she did it was kind of sus. So, like, yeah, obviously Savannah's going to follow her and then discover that she has an idol. So, yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of similar to what you were talking about, though. It's just, like, more of a timing issue. But yeah, then, like, once Savannah knows, then it's like, obviously Savannah's going to tell everybody. So, like, yeah, like you're saying, at least you got to tell your closest allies at that point. And also with, Christina finding this idol, like, I know that she doesn't know that there's a knowledge is power in the game, because I don't think anybody does. I think Sophi B has kept that to herself as far as I recall. But that's something that,
I forgot.
There's
Sophi
a knowledge
has that. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. She's so under the radar right now. But yeah, I think if there's something like that, or if you know that there's the possibility that something like that is in the game, like, yeah, you got to keep your idols to yourself, or only share them with people that you really trust.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't know there's a knowledge of power, the whole idea of that it could be there should make you be more, I don't know. Like, I did not for a second think that I was going to tell anybody ever about my idol.
Yeah.
And if I had found it on Gada, I would have told them there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if you have a number one. It doesn't matter. Like, I was never telling somebody unless I had to, because it was like the day I was playing it. Like, I told Sue the day I was playing it that I was playing it. I just don't really understand why you would ever choose to give your power away, and people do it in the name of, like, social bonding and trust. And I don't buy it. I don't think it works.
Yeah. This is our idol. It's the tribe idol. It's like,
that's what Rizgod said earlier, but I don't think anybody believed that. No. I do want to bring up, and this is Rachel's, where I'm really glad to have you on, because there's a lot of presumptions that Savannah wins this season because of pretty much everybody and their mother knows who's on 50 from the season. We talk about this podcast every week, so it's not a secret to our listeners that Rizgod and Savannah are back on 50. So we have to assume they do something big. As Jeff said last week, you got to do something big to be on 50. So we assume that they're going to make it pretty far and do something big. This was a big week, I think, for both of them. But my biggest question is, how does Savannah recover a lot of these people? Because this week we heard multiple people say that Savannah rubs them the wrong way. I think Jawan called her a savage and says she rubs people the wrong way. Sage brings up Savannah making condescending digs at her. It just seems, and then last week Sage says Sage said she can be a mean girl too, but that's separate. It just seemed like, and then last week there's a couple people saying they didn't like the way Savannah was towards them. I'm just wondering, since you won the game and handled a jury very successfully, how can Savannah recover people who have this thought about her already?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. And outside of, I don't remember who was saying that last week, but outside of Sage and Jawan, who clearly are, they've defected, they are not Uli strong, they don't care about that group. Is there anybody else that actually is rubbed the wrong way by Savannah? I feel like we're hearing a little bit about it from a couple people, but are they just kind of the loud people in the room? Because I can't actually think of anybody else that's saying that. You know what I'm saying? Has anyone else actually said? I don't know. And both Sage and Jawan were on the outs of original Uli, so of course they're going to have feelings about it. And if they're perceiving Savannah as the ringleader of that group, maybe the ire is falling on her as a result. She clearly is, she's has some fire to her. So that's not entirely surprising to me, but I don't know that I've seen that other people are rubbed the wrong way by Savannah. But yeah, if they are, I think one of the worst things on Survivor is people that perceive you as not just mean, but I just think it's really hard to win Survivor if people don't like you to some extent. Because even if you play a really good game, if their personal interactions with you were all in their minds negative, they're going to find all the reasons to award somebody else their vote. And so I do think that's a bad spot to be in if it's more than just a couple people. I mean, it's never good to have people that you're I don't think I will get your vote. But I think that happens kind of naturally through the course of playing Survivor. And so it's not necessarily your fault. But I would say if this continues, that's probably a pretty bad sign for Savannah, because it doesn't, there's only 8 jurors. So if you've already, we think you've lost 2, you can't lose that many more without losing the game. Right.
When you attempted to steal rice, did that win you votes at the end of the game? Do people see you as you were the voice of the other people? They're I wanted to steal the rice, I didn't think of it. Did that actually win you favors at Yellow? I know it sounds like a joke, but did it win you favors?
I got to be honest, for how much of a moment it was on TV, I don't know that a single person on my season remembered that happened after a day.
Man, the video I made about you, I named it after that.
I mean, I appreciate that. I think the moment is fun, and it's really fun to be known for that. But I do think that it was a much first off, it was a less fun moment in the real time, because Jeff got kind of pissed. They didn't really show that, and then so I think it was a little bit more tension than was probably felt on the airing. And then also, yeah, I think people didn't respect it so much as they were kind of yeah, I get it, and then they just moved on, So Sam was not pleased, though. He was mad that I drew attention to us.
Did Jeff ever? I know you're on the On Fire podcast, so you and Jeff are best buds. Did Jeff ever ask to have the cameras turned off so he could give you all talking to? Because if any time, I've heard about this happening in past seasons, but I figured it would happen with the rice, but it didn't. So did he ever do that during 47? That you're allowed to say, I mean.
Well, they never turned the cameras off, but they would just not show whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The cameras don't there's no cut. It will just keep rolling, and then they just won't put it in that.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So yeah, I mean, he didn't stop. I got my hand slapped for the rice thing, and I was
funny, Jeff slapped it.
Freaking out. Not literally, for the record, not literally.
That would have been funny.
That would have been funnier, honestly. And I think that you're just going to make it into like a cuter moment, because at the end of the day, it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I was like, I'm going to go home because Jeff threw me under the bus. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of speaks too to like how the show in the edit can kind of shape some of those moments, because like, yeah, like you're saying, you know, in the edited show, that moment was so funny and played very like lighthearted. But then this season we had, I'm going to compare these two moments. They're not exact,
The
but like that
diet food
moment with Sophie S.
Yep.
Yeah, where she was like talking about like, oh, Jeff, you know, we don't want diet food. We don't want the fruits. Like, I need some meat or like whatever. And then Jeff, like, kind of, you know, was like, what do you mean? Like, you know, this is, I forget exactly what he said, but like, this is a great reward. Like, you should be super happy about it. Look at how happy everyone else is. And kind of threw her under the bus on the show. So that, like, to me, it is kind of just showing how, you know, in the edit, they can very much shape those moments of like, obviously, they wanted us to like you as we're watching, because obviously you're going to go and play a great game and win the game. And so with Sophie S, I'm like, okay, what does that mean for her game? Probably means that she's not going to make it all the way to the end, or at least not win. Like, she's not being set up as someone that we as the audience should like or be rooting for, just in little moments like that. So, yeah, I don't know. That was just something that I thought of as you were talking about that moment and how it was shaped in the edit.
No, it's a good observation. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, I mean, yeah, and I mean, I always say, like, Survivor can't change what you say or how you say it, but they can highlight the things they want to highlight and diminish the things they want to diminish. And that changes the context entirely. And that changes the story, regardless of, like, whether the facts actually change, right? Because, like, for instance, when we had the hot dog social on 47, we complained like crazy about those hot dogs.
Did you?
Why would you?
No condiment. We got no condiments. There are literally condiments in the art on the banner of hot dog, and we're like, where are condiments? Like, and we were all under the assumption that we were getting like unlimited hot dogs, or at least more than one hot dog. Like, Tiana was like, what the fuck is this? Like, she was so mad. People were pissed. And so, like, they didn't show any of that, you know? They just show us gleefully eating our hot dogs, our dry hot dogs.
Oh, man. I'm so glad to hear that you guys complained about that, because we bring that up on this podcast all the time.
I love the dry hot dog
just
reward.
Being one dry hot dog. Like, that was so crazy.
Everybody had to cook them ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was like a grill, because that's what we want to do. We want to stand in like 95-degree heat and grill a hot dog. Like, come on.
One dry hot dog with no condiments.
Man.
Rachel, they would never have allowed it, but this is what you should have said on the On Fire podcast, because that would have been.
I know they would never allowed it. I'm aware, but
it would have been cut for time.
Yeah,
it would have been cut for time. Yeah, On Fire podcast has a strict time schedule. We all know this. Anyways, I do want to mention, since we're on the subject of 47, the infamous journey that you went on. One of my favorites, simply because Rebekah and I, from that week on, I think we joked the rest of the season about how hilarious it would have been. And I understand that this likely logistically was not going to happen, but the way it was presented as, you're working on the puzzle, Rachel, and us as the audience thinks that, oh my gosh, if she's still working on it, when it finishes, the puzzle gets ripped in the ocean. And my thought was, what if Rachel's hand gets stuck on a ball and it gets ripped in the ocean and you get ripped into the ocean? Did you think of that in the real time or after it was done?
No, I thought about it in real time, because I was like, what if that's so close that my hand is like grabbing the box and somehow, you know, and what's funny is, so it was close. It wasn't as close as the show made it look. Like, it looked like I got it within like a second, and I got it basically when I grabbed the box, I looked over and there was like the last spool, which was like the outside, was like unraveling. So I would say it was like less, probably between 4 and 8 seconds left. So it was very close, but it wasn't on the, you know, but what was funny is I grabbed the box. I'm just kind of like, I just grab it and I'm standing there, and someone on production yells, like, step back. and then I stepped back, and then the table went.
Crazy.
So I do think that they were like a little concerned that maybe it would like flip my foot and I would go flying into the ocean. But how iconic would that have been, honestly? It would have been advantage in my hand, and I just go flipping into the ocean. Yes. It would have been better. They should have let it happen.
It would have been legendary if you were still hanging on to it and you ripped into the ocean with it. And of course they would have saved you, but it would have been hilarious. And we joked about it, like, what if it had happened? I assume they had plenty of people around. Nothing bad would have happened.
Oh, yeah. They always have safety scuba people. There's people underwater, like, ready to rescue you. But
I was just concerned at the force with which that table was pulled into the ocean. Again, what I saw on TV, it looked like that thing was moving. So I was like, I was just like concerned that you were going to get hurt. But it was, would have been very iconic for sure.
Would have been worth it. Let's be honest. What's worse if it happened? I would have like broke my wrist or something. Like, it would have been fine. Yeah.
Just a broken wrist. I can play Survivor with a broken wrist. That's fine.
The only thing that can help
I could do puzzle one-handed. That would have been even more iconic.
Yeah, honestly, it would have.
I would have asked for hot dogs with condiments as a makeup for getting pulled into the ocean. This unsafe journey, I really need hot dogs with condiments to make up for it.
They just give you mustard. Like, no hot dog, just mustard.
All right, let's move on to 49. So we then get, on a serious note, I don't know. And now, Rachel, you're just talking about how everything you say happens, whether, what they choose to leave in the show is up to them. I kind of wonder, this Savannah conversation she has with Steven about her backstory without, I didn't see pictures. Mm-hmm. Was there pictures, Rebekah?
No, there were no pictures, but there was sad music, so it was close.
Close. It was almost an emotional backstory with pictures. Anyways, I kind of wonder, like, when was this? In the moment, it's supposed to be like, this is when it happened, but felt so out of place. Not, it didn't feel out of place for us because narratively, they're trying to make you root for Savannah and see her as more than just the smiling, seething girl. But I'm almost like, this conversation could have happened days later. Like, Steven doesn't have a crazy ton of facial hair.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that it happened that afternoon. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's possible that she's down. Here's the other thing. They don't know everything about us. Like, they know some stuff, and maybe that was part of her casting story. But it's very possible that production didn't know this happened, and that she, had this she was feeling down and out. She had this conversation with Steven, and then production asked her about it, on her next confessional, And so I think that that could have definitely been the tie. And I get why, she's feeling out. I get the feeling, when you're down and you feel like no one wants to work with you and you feel like you're at the bottom and it's not a good feeling. And so relating that to something which I think was pretty recent, I've looked at her Instagram and I think that she was a reporter not very long ago. So I think this was pretty, it wasn't 10 years ago, I don't think, so it feels like that. It narratively made sense to me. I think it felt like a lot of Savannah content when both Rizzo and Sophi B were also left out of the vote. But yeah, it did make sense to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and to your point earlier, Wesley, about how Savannah can win people back on the jury, I think this is the type of thing that she needs to keep doing because, if the general perception of you in the tribe is that you're this cold, heartless person and you're going to be savage and cutthroat, and if that's something you're trying to get away from, then yeah, kind of sharing more personal stories or connecting with people on a more personal level, I think can be really powerful. So yeah, having this conversation one-on-one with Steven and sharing hey, this is something really personal that happened to me. And I want to share this with you and just, I don't know, get to know each other better. I think that can be really powerful in the game, just in general.
That's a good point.
That might be, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No. I
was just going to say,
please finish.
Yeah, just that might be what they're trying to do with, the edit here is just kind of show us that this is what Savannah is gonna do to just kind of win back the favor of the tribe. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh no, I'm just like, I hadn't thought about it that way, Rebekah, and I think that's a really like good point, because the other thing is if people are saying like, yeah, you're a mean girl, you're cold, she can just like diffusing some of that with, well, I have my walls up because I've been through this other type of experience, is also like not only makes sense, but it's like pretty relatable to most people at some point, you know? And so I do, I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, and this is only because I was watching Cook Islands today for a video of Ozzy giving at the final tribal council, talking about him growing up and how his dad wasn't around. And it was a very emotional story. And I'm like, I don't know if it won jury votes over, because is that final tribal? And at that point, I feel like most people's minds are made up. But it's one of those things, I agree with you, Rebekah, where, and of course I haven't been on Survivor, so Rachel can speak to this, but if I heard that and it wasn't prompted by something and it's just like conversation we're having, to me that means more. But if it feels like you're trying to like force it on me, or it's only being prompted because of I don't know. I'm not sure how this would be prompted in a way it felt unnatural. I'm saying the fact that it's a one-on-one conversation does feel more natural than, I guess.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem desperate, because it's not like, at least the way it's presented in the show, it's not like Savannah's like, oh, we're voting in an hour and I'm worried you're going to vote for me.
Hail
so
Mary.
Let me like,
yeah,
it's not a Hail Mary. It seems, again, we don't know exactly when this happened, but it seems like it was just, this is how I'm feeling. This is why, this is what happened. And just a natural moment.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, her open, which I thought was kind of weird in the show, which was like, have I told you about my traumatic work experience? Could also have been a response to something that he was sharing, right? It makes a lot more sense if he was talking about something in his life where he, is overworked or had a bad experience, and then she is now, like, coming in with her, like, relatable story. Because that's kind of like a weird cold open otherwise, right? So I think that it's also very possible that they were just like bonding, and this was something that came up again, maybe not even that same day, and they're just showing it out of context, which they definitely do, because it just makes it make more sense.
There was that time that I was going down the river in the Amazon on a kayak, and National Geographic wanted to go with me, and I told them no, this one's for me.
And when I went down the river, I got captured.
That's his birth name.
That's such a relatable story, Wesley.
I got captured by some locals and they wanted to lick. All right. So let's move on to the immunity challenge. Rebekah, this is your thing, but I do want to throw out there, and this is a great time to have Rachel answer this question. So they do split groups again. Now I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like they've done this, 8 out of the 9 New Era seasons. Why are people acting shocked? Rachel, I know you weren't there, but why are people acting shocked?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know why they're acting shocked. I think that to me, maybe I should look back and be like, did we act shocked? Because here's the other thing. Maybe they reacted that way to something else. So I don't know. I do think that you kind of, even if you anticipate things, you still kind of get lost a little bit. You get caught up in the moment a little bit, and it's still like it's happening to you. And I think that is different than watching it on TV and being like, this is coming, So I do think that you are kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, even though it's, like, because to be fair, they didn't have mergatory. They didn't have they had like a normal merge. So maybe they weren't like anticipating to have the split tribal, but I don't know. I think it's a combo of using reaction footage, maybe not from the exact moment. And also just, some people are actually surprised because they don't actually think about this stuff or don't know the show well enough to expect it all the time. And then other people just, I think, get caught up in the moment. So it's a little silly when it's totally over the top, but I think that something like this, it can also just be a panic reaction of like, oh, where are the rocks going to put me?
Yeah, I would be panicking, I think, personally, especially if I was in Rizgod or Savannah spots, though. Gosh, did things work out for them, huh? So basically, Rebekah, this one's easy immunity challenge explain. We got everybody splits up into 2 random groups, and then they have to do, I don't know what this challenge is called, but basically, what's it? Well, what is that? Like, you balance balancing,
brace up
yourself
against a wall with feet on footholds that get smaller.
Yeah.
There's got to be a shorter name for it. I don't know.
They're so small. They've gotten so small.
Yeah.
There's definitely a name for it, but I can't think of it. Because they did that on our season too.
Mm-hmm. Is it as painful as it looks? Because it looks so hard. I
did not participate. It was one of those where it was like progressively less people, and then the final 4 people in the challenge did it, and Gabe won.
Is that when he did his Ravens dance?
I always wanted to try it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember this.
So I can only imagine it's painful as hell. Like, it looks awful. And I'm kind of actually a little bit sad I didn't get like any of the torture challenges, because I really don't know how I would have done in the heat of the moment. I think that doing something like that not on Survivor would never be the same, because the stakes aren't there. But like, how much are you willing to put the pain aside and mentally like push if you need to? It would have been very interesting, and I'm a little bummed that I didn't get the opportunity to try.
Well, and they've brought up a couple times this season just about like how hot it is there too. Like, I'm sure that, I mean, yeah, obviously you're not eating and it's just extreme heat. I mean, it is like the most intense circumstances for something like this with the highest stakes. So yeah, it seems like it would be very challenging.
So we get everyone split up in a half, and basically number one, my criticism, and I'm sure everyone else's is, whenever they split, it's like, why did we merge when we merged? Why didn't we just merge an episode later if you wanted to do this? Because we could have just done this to 2 tribes, which we actually had this season. But besides that I'm not too sure I like half of a tribe getting immunity and they don't even get to go to tribal. Like, I guess on one hand, sure, half of them could get immunity. Why not? But why didn't they get to go to tribal too? I know we got the cool Savannah getting the advantage. She got to go tribal, but I think everyone should go to tribal in the post-merge game. I don't think anybody should ever skip a tribal ever, unless, for example, Rachel, you have the safety without power that Saul gave you, but that's an advantage you got to play. You weren't.
But the reality is I would have never been on the chopping block if we didn't have split tribal. So it's kind of like it's a manufactured. That's the thing. Like, I get a lot of shit for like, she almost went home. Well, I also like shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. So it's it's sort of, it's just frustrating, right? Because it just feels like, like you said, why merge? If you don't want the merge, why merge? Like, just or give, even if we're going to give half the people immunity, which I still think is silly, everyone should go to tribal.
Right. Everyone should go to tribal and vote.
Yeah.
There should be, Savannah still could have got the advantage where she could have an extra vote and bank it, I guess, would have been this twist on this, but I think everyone should bet tribal. There's no reason to have half people not there.
It kind of seemed to me like, I don't know. I don't want to like criticize Jeff because,
we love Jeff here. He's our savior.
We love Jeff here. All of that. Survivor's perfect. But it does seem sometimes like Survivor can be kind of like an abusive relationship, where in like tonight, they took Savannah's vote away and then they were like, oh, we're going to give you a really special advantage in the game. And that is a vote. But it's like the only reason that was a special advantage was because they just took her vote away, along with everyone else's on her team. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, Survivor loves to do this where it's like, oh, don't you feel special now we gave you back your vote? But it's like, that's the core of Survivor is like your vote is your voice in the game. So like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of people getting their votes taken away just under any circumstance. But yeah, I guess it worked out for Savannah tonight, so I can't be too upset about it.
That's a pretty good comparison, Rebekah. It is kind of abusive in that sense. Like we're going to take this away from you and you're going to feel really bad. But what if we give it back to you? Won't you feel better than you did before?
No, don't you love me?
Yes. Yeah. Don't you love me? Oh,
don't you love the fruit reward?
So Savannah, I know Sophi B was doing a prayer. At least that's what I assume was happening. I would have personally, and I know this sounds like a joke, but this is kind of what would have motivated me in the moment. I've been channeling Dee's big toe. I've been saying that. I've been like,
yes,
this is for Dee's big toe, and I would have said that, and I would have been it would have been ironic and unironic.
Is Dee's big toe like helpful in this challenge? It might be hindering. Like having anything on your feet in this challenge is not good, right?
I don't question the big toe energy. I just don't. That's not a thing I do. I channel it and I accept it and I move on. I don't question the big toe.
The BTE. Wesley doesn't challenge the BTE.
I don't challenge it. I know she's gonna be at 50. If there's a challenge that has to do anything with toes, she's golden. I'll write it down. I'll be like, D1 immunity before it even happens. Because I know the big toe energy.
I kind of wish we would have been able to see D in this challenge now. Like, when she just hung on by her toes only.
Bruh.
Ooh.
Bruh.
Beast mode.
I do always think that, and I know this was a thing they used to do, and I don't know if they still do it, but it does feel like these footholds should be adjusted to the person. And I don't know if they do that. And by that, I mean, the size of the foothold should be adjusted to the size of the person.
Sure, but I do think there's other challenges that like are worse for smaller people, and so this is one of the ones that are better for smaller people or lighter people. You know, there's like plenty of strength or like those kind of like I can't think of one because all I can think about is the bucket, which is rated per person. But there are definitely other ones that like aren't distributed like by your specific size that like taller people have an advantage in, or you know, whatever. So I think that it's never going to be fully equal. So I think this is fine. I
think what they should do is just
smaller feet, so I don't know.
I think what they should do is just every challenge is just a puzzle. And then that's the great equalizer
up,
for everybody.
Shut up.
What do you think of that, Wesley?
Shut up. That's so bad. Stop it. That's so terrible. Because you know what? That's going to be
all puzzles.
There's on the On Fire podcast this season. They've been saying we didn't listen to your feedback. We did this because of this. They've said that I think twice. Next thing you're going to do is be like, we listened to your feedback. We heard you. Every challenge is a puzzle. And I'll be like, Rebekah, the one thing they listened to. And
they just clipped that one moment of the podcast. They didn't listen to anything else we've ever said.
So Savannah wins immunity and basically saves her hide. And Rebekah, you're messaging me during this. You're like, this is how Savannah has to save herself, because we're all like, Savannah's dead in this group. Like, she's dead. Yeah. She doesn't have Rizgod. She doesn't have Sophi B. Like, nobody in this. This is a terrible group for her. And I don't think anybody winning on the other group and coming over with a vote would have saved her. Like, I don't think this was a savable situation. Even if maybe Rizgod comes over and he has the idol around his neck because he could play the idol for Savannah. That's the only situation. Oh, Sophi S. Yeah.
Right. So she would have been in so much trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, even going into this challenge, like before they even started, Savannah was in such a bad place kind of regardless. But yeah, the way the numbers worked out, like such a bad place. But man, what an upset this episode was. I mean, last week's episode, I remember we talked on the pod about just like, how are Savannah and Rizgod going to get out of this situation and do something interesting enough that ends up getting them on 50? Because it was like they were in such a bad spot after last week, but man, the tables have turned. So yeah, good for Savannah. She really saved herself.
I know we haven't got to yet, but I can't believe Rizgod didn't have to play his idol. Like, talk about some expert social play here to not even have to play the idol at all.
Crazy.
What?
Crazy work.
Yeah. So it kind of like this becomes. I'm actually surprised Sophi S survived this as well, because we go to the camp of the tribe that's going to actually go to tribal, whatever you want to call them. Are these people at the old Uli camp, right? Or am I wrong? Is that the other group? Yeah. Well,
I honestly don't remember.
Not that it matters.
The tribe names. Yeah.
Okay. Sophi S is like, all right, we're all going to go on Rizgod. Use me as the fake vote. And I'm like, oh no, she's going to get done in by this. And then Jawan and Sage try to trick the Rizgod. And by the way, I try to trick the Rizgod. I think he was tricked.
My understanding.
Yeah. I think if everything had gone as originally planned, I think Rizzo goes home with an idol in his pocket.
He really wants to hang on to this idol. He is not. It doesn't seem like he wants to part with it. And to me, that's super dangerous. That is not good. Rachel, it seemed like when you were in trouble on 47, you were like, I'm going to throw the shot in the dark out there to get a feeler. But it seemed like you were willing to part with the idol if need be. Like, you were not married to it by any means.
I was absolutely willing to part. If one person would have given me a reason to believe that I had disrupted something, I would have played it. I was not at all married to it.
Yeah, I don't know what the Rizgod's waiting on, Rebekah. What do you think?
Well, it's also public.
Yes, exactly. Part of me thinks that maybe what's going to happen with this idol is that Sophi B is going to use her knowledge as power and steal it from him. I mean, it doesn't really make sense because they're allies right now, but like she does seem very open to working with other people as long as she's not going to go home. So like that would be kind of my ideal at this point because like you said, it seems like Rizgod does not want to play this idol. So if it's just going to sit in his pocket, might as well have Sophi B steal it and like do an epic play. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that happens, but that's what I would like to see happen.
But then next time on Survivor, the three of them are working together again. So I don't even know about that.
I know.
Well, she could also steal Christina's idol because that's going to stay secret for 0 amount of time.
That is true. That's a really good point. Yep.
Yeah, because who was there when she found it? Steven and somebody else. Was it
Alex?
And Alex, yeah.
Oh, and Alex and Sophi B, while they're not like necessarily partners in crime, they're also not enemies either. So he could tell her.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, that's why you got to keep this stuff a secret. That's just the rule of thumb across the board. There's no need to tell people until the very last minute. And even then, do I need to tell anyone?
Yeah, if you don't need them, you should not tell them.
Yeah.
The only reason I told Sue is because I needed to.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think like the flip side of that is what MC did where she played an idol when she didn't need to and didn't tell anyone about it. Like she didn't tell her closest allies. And so then, yeah, it's like, okay, well, you got to be careful about like betraying that trust. So yeah, I mean, again, I haven't played Survivor. I don't know. I'm sure every situation is different, but like, yeah, it does seem like you kind of want to tell people before you play it, but not so soon before you play it that they have a chance to like run around and cause problems.
Sophie S tells MC, I'm going to throw a stray vote on Jawan. And I think this could have been kept a secret. You could just do this. Remember, ask for forgiveness. Don't ask for permission. This felt like a permission. I know she's telling MC because she's trying to build trust, but this to me was like, I wouldn't tell you when I'm throwing a hinky vote. I would just do it. And then afterwards be like, who threw that hinky vote? Was that Savannah? Or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
She didn't know Savannah.
I mean, she didn't know that Savannah was coming. But...
Okay. I haven't played. I didn't win.
I don't think the egregious thing was Sophie telling MC. I think the egregious thing is MC telling Jawan. Because what does that do for her? And what did she want the outcome to be? If Sophie was her enemy, that makes sense. But she likes Sophie. She wants to work with Sophie. She also wants to work with Jawan. Like, why do this? This is like, to me, like, her doing that made no sense. And I do wonder if it is the thing that ultimately tanked her game because she was not being talked about. It was literally Rizzo or Jawan or Sophie, and all of a sudden it becomes MC. And it's like... Or
Savannah. Oh, no, Savannah wasn't... Yeah, she was safe. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, see, and so we kind of talked about this last week, I think, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, when I was like discussing, I was like, I feel like MC, and I didn't know at the time we were talking about it. It's like, I feel like MC, while she has knowledge, I feel like she's kind of a newer fan because it feels like a lot of the moves I'm seeing her make, or it was when she went for look for the idol, in my opinion, too soon. And Savannah caught her. I was like, she should have waited for her allies to come back and then have a cover for her looking for the idol. Though that would, I guess, reveal to somebody she has an idol, but shoot, it's better than getting caught by Savannah. But I was like, this kind of feels like a newbie move. And then I looked up and it turns out MC started watching the season during your season, Rachel. So she's kind of a new fan and she's probably binged a bunch. And to me, and not like to knock anybody who's new, but you can kind of tell, in my opinion, when somebody's newer to the game by the moves or how they execute moves, I guess, versus the moves. Because a lot of people make similar moves, just how do you execute them? And I think MC is a position of, okay, she's like, this is a good move to make, it'll build trust, but it's like the execution of it was, but what is this going to get? What are you going to get out of it?
What are you going to get out of it is the actual question. Yeah, I think that's a good point where it's like, you're like, the purpose is to build trust, but there's still ramifications for everything you do and say. And so like, what is the ramification of this? And is it worth whatever, like, is the trust out that you're going to gain, which is minimal and I don't buy it, outweigh like the damage control you're going to have to do with someone else. You gain a footing here and you like lose a huge footing on the other side. It's just like, it's a lot.
Yeah, because she tells Jawan, and before she tells Jawan, it's like, okay, well, here's what's going to happen. Either Rizgod gets voted off because he doesn't play the idol, or Jawan has a hinky vote put on him, and then on a revote, well, that's not even a revote. Yeah, the revote theoretically between who Rizzo voted for, which would not have been Jawan and Jawan. And
it would have
then
been Sophie and Jawan.
Sophie and Jawan. And at that point, MC's safe in every situation. Yeah, I think she would just vote off Jawan in that situation. She wouldn't vote for Sophie. So yeah, I guess she shouldn't really.
Like, I don't want him to go, but I don't want her to go either. Was what she said in confession.
Yeah.
Just I like sloppy gameplay. It makes the game interesting. Yeah, she did.
Neither Jawan or Sophie went home.
Can you take me higher? All right.
I have to say real quick, I want to know what they said at Tribal, because the whole like live Tribal thing where MC's talking to everybody clearly did not make a difference.
No subtitles.
Yeah, so, I will be very curious what exit press is like from her.
Yes.
Because like we have not gotten a live Tribal with no subtitles in a really long time.
Yeah. But then also like MC seemed like she obviously started it and was like the main person talking to people and then ended up getting voted out. So I'm like, what were they talking about? I'm very curious.
It's so dangerous when they don't put subtitles on screen. It's the most dangerous thing that Survivor could do.
So scary.
It's so scary. Yeah, the monster is the no subtitles. All right. So Savannah gets her advantage. She was upon that necklace and she gets her advantage, and it's either she gets to vote, like you said, Rebekah, gets her vote back, or she can save her vote, and then she just jumps on a boat. She's just like, what's that called? Is that like a queen wave, a princess wave? She's just waving.
Yes.
Waving.
Gently, like a princess as she drives in.
Someone was like, or Alex was like, what's going on?
There she goes.
There she goes. She's like, I'm the Grim Reaper and I'm coming in here, but I'm hot. That's how she presented it.
Smiling and waving.
All season, they even talk about there's a monster on the season. You know, that's from the beginning. It's the horror movie. It's Act 1 of a horror movie. Now we're in Act 2. Savannah's the monster. She's the Grim Reaper. She's even calling herself it now. Does the monster win at the end of the horror movie? Which horror movie are we in? That's the question.
That's the question.
That's the question.
It depends.
Does the monster win, or do they get killed by the random, one teenager at the end of the movie that maybe is in the next movie or not?
The final girl.
Yeah, the final girl.
That's literally the name for it, is like the one girl that survives to the end of the movie. Yeah.
She has the best facial expression. She can cry. She can look really scared. Yes. Correct.
Yep, exactly.
In this case, I'm going to guess Sophi B would be that final girl based on what we think's happening. So, all right. She joins the losing group and they're like, what the fudge are you doing here? And she's like, I'm here to vote with you. And then she tells Rizgod, I can keep my vote if I want. And Rizgod, of course, is a safe person to tell this to. But the move here to save her vote, they voted. Okay, so they did the vote and it was a clean sweep. Jeff revealed MC's voted off after 3 votes. Do you think anyone's going to think into that? Because with 6 votes, shouldn't he have waited till the 4th MC vote to say something?
Yeah. So, like, if anyone was actually counting, they would have realized. But I guess she could just say that, I don't know. We'll see if she gets confronted about it. I feel like, so who would have to notice? Sage, Jawan, or Sophie, right?
Yeah, because Rizgod's not going to say nothing. Yeah.
Right, Rizgod's not going to say anything. Yeah, interesting. I wonder if Sophie clocks that.
Depends the kind of person you are. Like, that's the kind of detail I would notice. Thinking, okay, like Jeff is very, the show is very predictable in terms of like, they're never going to like surprise you with how they reveal the votes. It's always, you're going to see all the necessary votes to know who got votes. And then you're going to get if it ends on the last vote, ends on the last vote. If it doesn't, it's a string of votes for that one person. But he always is going to do right when the majority hits, the mathematical majority. And in this case, I think there should have been a 4th MC vote revealed before he said that, because there could have theoretically been a tie with 6 people and there wasn't. It was a 4-1 vote, and it should have been a 5-1 vote. So yeah, I wonder if anyone's going to be like, what the heck? Savannah didn't get to vote.
I'll tell you from personal experience that when it's like the merge happens and you have like 12, 11, 10 votes, it's very hard to keep track as like an exhausted player that's like nervy at Tribal. But with a group that small, someone should notice, like it should. Like when they were reading the Sam and Sierra votes, like I couldn't keep track of how many were happening. Like it's very hard. It's just, there's too many. I think there was like 10. But I think that these smaller tribals, people should, at least like 1 or 2 of them should pick up on it. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any fallout from that.
I bet you it's going to be the way Sage has been portrayed. She went from being silly and poopy to being serious and like almost like a what about Genevieve kind of character, Rachel, for someone who actually knows Genevieve. Because Genevieve was kind of a nobody for 3.5 episodes till Keyshawn said something and her third eye kicked in. Sage was kind of nobody for 3 episodes while she was talked about poop until Shannon started annoying her. Or they did the tribe swap and Shannon annoyed her. So it's almost like, we got what about Genevieve? What about Sage?
Interesting. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
What about Genevieve? I had to figure out how to get that in here. All right.
Yes.
Oh man, we talked so much about that your season. We loved that moment where Genevieve had a third eye.
So many good running bits from that season. Yeah.
Genevieve's third eye was top tier. Oh, Operation Italy, you're here. Operation Italy was all for you. How did you feel when you found out it was all for you?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to break up I ruined the party, but it's okay. I got to save my advantage.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
All that work and effort, and it was like, oh, we're gonna get Caroline, I guess. And it's like, that's not Rachel. Right. It's not Rachel.
I know. I really want to know, because Sam said that he was like throwing the challenge at one point because he knew he couldn't win. And I was like, yeah, but like at what point did you realize I was going to win? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I don't know that I'm buying this story, but even if I was, like, at some point you had to go, oh shit, that's even worse than if I win. Yeah, it's funny. It's a funny.
That reminds me of Q. Q all 46 was like, oh yeah, I'm throwing immunity challenges. I'm just throwing them all to lower my threat level. And I'm like, I don't think Q could win any of these if he wanted to, based on how well his tribe was performing pre-merge and then how he was performing post-merge. Like he won the one challenge where Liz got really ticked, but
yeah, that was an important challenge for him to win.
Yeah,
it was a reward for Applebee's.
Sam never claims to throw any other challenge, but I was just like, the logic behind that one just was funny to me, because it was like,
Well, also, how many times did Q try to quit in 46? Was it 3 times?
On camera 3 times.
Okay.
On camera.
So I think there was more going on there with Q.
I'm a Q fan, I gotta say. I feel like
he's
having
great.
somebody who genuinely doesn't need the money and doesn't really care, it throws such a wrench in the works for a show that at this point it like tends to skew game body, because you cannot plan around what you would assume is like logic. Like his logic is not the same as your logic, and he's fun. I really like Q. Yeah. I would hate playing Survivor with him, but I like him as a person and a character.
Yes.
We love
tonight.
Q here.
At some point, Rizgod said something about like, it's Christmas, and I can't wait for Q to cancel his Christmas. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Rachel, speaking of money, how much did you get to keep after Obama got his cut?
It's only 600,000.
Crazy segue.
Was it really about 600,000? I only Jeff Kent's my only source on this.
Wow.
No, I mean it's like 37% plus state tax, 4% Michigan tax.
Plus tip.
I think it was less. Might have been less than.
Dang. I've been for 13 years. I've been like, Jeff Kent's my only source on this. I wonder if it's true. I mean, I could have done Google research, I'm sure.
Top tax bracket, U.S.
Dang.
The only time I'll ever hit it. It is 37. Yeah. So I paid 41%.
Oh, wow.
Bye-bye.
Oof.
Dang.
5 nights.
I mean, shoot. Yeah. This is that's when being Canadian has benefits, but that's definitely one.
Oh my God. Not only you get to keep it all in Canadian dollars, it's like 1.3.
Yeah. Could you have moved to Canada just briefly while you got
for tax evasion purposes? Richard Hatch
to adopt me for a month. I asked her to adopt me, and she would not
that would
have
been
it.
Perfect. Oh man!
I was like, I can basically split this in half with you if you just make me your child. So,
Genevieve, let me gift you this $1 million.
Right. It's not asking too much. I don't think. Man.
Her loss.
Her loss. Oh man, that's a Richard Hatch move right there, evading all your taxes. All right, that's an old joke. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So basically, Savannah shows up, is the Grim Reaper. Rizgod wants to save his idol. He's really keen on this, which makes me wonder when he's going to use it. Because if he sits on it all season and never plays it, we've seen that enough times where it's like, yeah, people aren't really impressed. You have to pull like a Marianne and be like, Marianne did a great job at Final Tribal explaining why not playing her idol was a big move, and people were actually surprised in a good way. But we've seen other people who like, right, it was a secret. Right. So they were shocked that she even had it. But she's like, here's why not playing it actually worked out, because I actually social gamed my way to not needing to play this idol. And it like really impressed the jury. Whereas everyone knows Rizgod has the idol. So Rizgod's going to need to do a good job explaining why not playing his public idol was good for him if he never plays it. But I'm hoping at some point he plays it and does something. Otherwise, this is just like every week he's like,
I think he's gotta play it, right? Like if he gets like deep with it, I think that's more telling than anything that we might see in the show. Like the Xander edit forever will like taint that perspective for me, because it was just so like unclear to us as the audience that nobody was looking at him as a threat. And once you like put into context the fact that he had a known idol from the pre-merge all the way through the end of the game, you're like, oh, well, it makes a lot more sense why he got no votes, right? Because nobody was even like, they were so unworried that they didn't care if he had pretty much the biggest power you could have in the game. Whereas like, yeah, I feel like now that Rizzo's held it twice, like he has to play it. Like it's crazy. It's crazy if they don't go after him, and it's crazy if he doesn't play it. Like when it's known like that, I think it'll be very telling if we go another couple weeks where he's not being targeted and he's not playing it.
That's a good point. Yeah. The 41 was kind of an anomaly in the new era in terms of how they told the story, because it felt like 42, they tried to even out if you look at the number of confessionals alone, they tried to even out the edit a lot more in 42, where it felt like everybody was given equal screen time. Not equal, but more equal. And I feel like they've done a good job since 42 in keeping it like nobody's truly gotten purpled, where it felt like 41, like, who's Heather? Why is she important to Erica, the winner of the season? And Heather gets really deep. And Xander, why did it not matter that he had an idol? Stuff like that was really big question marks in 41. And it feels like, I feel like if there's a reason Rizzo isn't playing his idol, we're going to know. Like, especially 90-minute episodes now. We got longer time, we got more time.
Yeah.
It's almost, if they don't tell us, then it would be a bit silly. So I do wonder if he eventually plays it and it misses or hits, whatever. But if he doesn't play it, we need to hear from other people why he never needed to play his idol the whole post-merge, because that's insane otherwise, to not play it and get really deep on the back of a known idol. Yeah. Because it feels like that should put a target on your back more than anything.
Right. If it's not putting a target on your back, you've got bigger problems, like honestly.
Right.
You're socially screwed up.
But I think, right. I do want to give Rizzo, like some kudos for his, like, I want to preserve Sophi because she is the common target. Like it's not a new type of strategy, but I think as someone who's coming from an underdog position, preserving a known and common target is very good, because and it's like the only people that want Sophi to go are the people in power, because they're trying to like retain the power structure that they have. And as someone that's kind of like currently on the outs and sort of floaty, if Rizzo can say like, okay, I'm not going home tonight and none of my allies are going home, and we can get somebody else, whether that's MC or even Jawan if you really want, or Sage or whatever, like somebody else. And then tomorrow, everyone's still looking at Sophi. Like that's great for him, because it just gives it's culling the people that are left and gives him more power as a number, because as the numbers dwindle, people need to pick up extra people, so I did like that from him.
Yeah, I'm with you, because by doing their bidding, Sophi S would have retained the power structure, retained what they knew, and kept everyone feeling safe. But by blindsiding MC, it's like, okay, now we go back to the other 3 people who weren't at this tribal, or 4 people. I forget. I think it's 4 people. And, you know, they gotta explain what happened, and now there could be some chaos or QOS. If Q is here, it'd be QOS. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think you're right. Like saving Sophie S, not because he's working with her, just because it upsets what they wanted, is a power move in a way. It's like, I got what I wanted and I have to play my idol.
Yeah, he's being like I don't know how to word this. Like, despite the fact that he's basically at the bottom, he is playing like he's at the top, which is kind of nuts. Like, I don't remember who said it. Sophie was like, 2 minutes ago, like, Rizzo was the target, and now he's telling us what to do. You know, like, what the hell is going on? And I think that that's a really interesting, and maybe that's just, like, being super young and just excited and, like, knowing a lot about Survivor, but it feels like that's, like, a thing that most people wouldn't approach the situation. Like, I think most people in that situation would be like, as long as it's not me, like, I don't really give a shit, you know, like, so I'm in a tenuous situation. He's kind of like, no, like, fuck it, if I go home, I don't care, like, this is what I gotta do. I like that for him.
That's definitely the Rizgod. He did name himself the Rizgod, so he, you know,
yeah,
so he names himself that.
The God move.
And I think his girlfriend's name Liz, so she's the Liz God.
Oh, it's Liz. She is, and he introduces her as
so
the Liz
cute.
God. I have met them. They're very cute. Yeah.
That's adorable.
There you go.
Love that.
Yeah.
So MC gets voted out in a blind side. MC gets voted out for a blind side, and I don't have anything else for the episode proper before we move on to our next section. Do you, Rebekah?
No, other than just like we mentioned before, I want to know what they were talking about at Tribal, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week on that one. All right, well, let's move on. Very briefly, I want to mention our Patreon. You can support us on there and get these podcasts early and ad-free. At the moment, I believe I have 10 plus videos that are unreleased on YouTube that you can watch on there, including video. And for those who are free patrons, I do have the links to the videos that, Rachel, to catch you up real quick, they updated their system to detect copyright with, I believe, an AI system. And it's been hitting a lot of my story videos, which are
the big ones on the channel, unfun, so I've had to go back and fix those.
Yeah. Thankfully, not yours. I think by the time I got to your season, I kind of had figured out what they're looking for. But in like older seasons, like Marianne's and Jam Jam's, no, I hadn't figured it out yet. So all those videos, they're fixed. They're on there. That's their links there on the Patreon down in the description. Okay, let's move on to winner analysis. Rebekah and I are going to give our top 3 tonight. Rachel said that she cannot say because she knows too much, and we will not ask her for rankings because of that. But tomorrow, Mary and I will rank the remaining 9 players left in the game. So, I mixed it up, Rebekah. My number 3.
I did too. Okay. Let's hear what yours are. Go for it.
My 3 is Sage. Is she in your 3?
Oh, okay. I took her out of the number 3 spot because she was my number 3 last week. But yeah, why do you have Sage as number 3?
I moved her up because I felt like I've had Sophi B in the top 3 all season, and then Sophi B kind of got pushed to the side all episode. And I've said this almost every season we've podcast, like the post merge is very telling. Who are they focusing on the post merge story wise? Like Sophi B got a lot of focus when she was going tribal, but now she went to tribal and even she got pushed to the side this week for the most part. And to me, it's just like there's too much. I have to push her down. By push down, maybe she's gonna be 4 tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't quite locked her in yet, but I don't know. Sage feels like the Genevieve of this season, where it feels like she's important. Now, maybe she doesn't win, but is she not important enough? And I don't think there's anyone here who's on the jury who's mad at her. Like Shannon's not here. Shannon's not on the jury.
True, yeah.
So like who doesn't like Sage? So I pushed her up to 3. I think she has power, and she's important enough where it feels like she's the main power of the opposing force to Savannah and the Rizgod. And therefore, I have to respect that and give her 3. But who do you have at 3?
See, okay, that's interesting because, yeah, I think Sage probably for me would be at number 4 right now. Like, I definitely agree with a lot of what you're saying of that she's, like, in a really good power position. However, I jumped Jawan up to number 3 this week, which might be a crazy thing to do, but hear me out. The thing is that I feel like he's been the main voice that's been narrating this whole monster, like, you know, Savannah's like this scary monster that needs to be defeated. And so I feel like I still think Savannah wins this season, but I think there's also a possibility that Jawan is the final girl, that he's the one who slays the monster at the end and wins. I don't know. It might be crazy, but that was just, I felt like, especially this episode, like, I know we got content from Sage, but like, there's just so much more surrounding Jawan and like, you know, his name being thrown out. And then, I mean, yeah, MC was, you know, the one that like, they really focused on how MC playing her idol without telling him how that made him feel. And I don't think we heard much from Sage about that, at least not as much as we did from Jawan. So I don't know. He's just giving me more main character energy right now than Sage is, but I don't know. He could drop down next week. We'll see. But I've got him at number 3 right now.
Okay. Well, that was a legit surprise. I was not expecting that. Is your number
twist.
Is your number 2 and 1 who I think they are?
If you think they're the same as last week, yes.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. Well, my number 2 is Rizgod and my number 1 is Savannah for the tribe division reasons of 50 that basically everybody knows about. But go ahead. What are your 2 and 1?
Well, that's not exactly what mine are. Mine number 2 is Savannah, and my number 1 is still Sophi B. I know that
really?
So here's my case for Sophi B. I get that. I agree with what you're saying that post-merge is really important, and I get that she didn't get a lot of attention this week, but I don't know. I think that could almost be a good thing. Like, she's in a very powerful alliance with Rizgod and Savannah, who we know are important characters this season. She also, though, seems to have some flexibility to work with other people as well. Like, even, you know, from last week to this week when Savannah and Rizgod were at the bottom, like, she wasn't really getting caught up in that. Like, there were still people who were willing to work with her. And on top of that, the fact that she has knowledge is power, and she hasn't told anybody, which is a really good, like, smart move. It's just, like, indicating to me that I think she's really good at playing this game. So, I don't know. It might be crazy, but yeah, even with her being quieter this week, I don't think that is enough for me to move her out of that number 1 spot for now.
My worry with Sophi B is kind of what Rachel was saying earlier with Xander is like, Sophi B seems like theoretically she should be a target, but yet keeps kind of being ignored as a target. And that's why I feel like we got with Xander in 41, where it's like, why is Sophi B being ignored so much? When in theory she should be, well, maybe not as targeted as Savannah and Rizgod. It was like, Alex, like, no one's even caring about you. Well, I feel like that's bad. Apathy is worse than people not liking you. I mean, my personal opinion, people not liking you, at least that's an emotion towards you. Maybe you can flip it the other way. We've seen that in Survivor. But apathy, I mean, if they don't care about you, to me, that's even worse.
Yeah. Well, and also to be clear, like, I do think in order for her to do really well towards the end of the game, like, I do think Rizgod and maybe even Savannah need to get voted out. Although, I don't know, Savannah is being set up as the monster, so maybe Sophi B is just like the one who hasn't made as many enemies as Savannah at the end. But, you know, again, just given the way we've seen Rizgod playing and he's really just holding on to that idol, like, I do have some concerns about him making it to the end. Like, I could see him getting voted out with that idol in his pocket.
Bruh.
So,
imagine,
I don't know. That's my top 3 hot takes, I guess.
Rizgod at Final Tribal is going to sell himself, whether it's accurate or not. That's how I feel. He's going to sell himself, whether it's truthful, whether it's real. It's all his perspective. It's going to be all his perspective. And I don't know if it's going to work, but
but the question is, can he get to Final Tribal? That's what I'm questioning right now. Because I think he would do well at Final Tribal, but I just don't know if he can get there at this point. So we'll see.
Well, we'll go way more in depth tomorrow with Mary when we do our top. Well, not our top. We'll do all 9 players left in the game. But yeah, that's our.
You'll do your top 9 players that are left.
Isn't that? It's such a shame that Sophie S and Christina got skunked in an episode because we still have to rank them. Rachel, I don't. I'm sure maybe you know this, maybe you don't. I don't want to assume that you don't know this, but ever since 42, if you get 0 confessionals in an episode, that means you're not winning the game. And I fell for it last season. I was like, Joe's the exception. Joe got 0 confessionals in an episode, but it's Joe. And I was dead wrong. So it's like,
dude, Christina.
Wait, who got 0?
Joe
Christina
got 0 last season at 48.
No, I'm saying this season.
This season, Christina got 2 episodes of 0 and Sophie S got 1. And it was early on in the season,
that's brutal.
And ever since 42, it's been like the rule of thumb, like you can't have 0 and win the game. So Genevieve had 0 in your season, but we were still Genevieve. Like I didn't have Genevieve at 1, but I had Sierra at 1 for quite a while till she got voted off. Though I will say, Rachel, that episode 1, my wife had you at 1.
She didn't hold that all season, but she did have you at 1 week 1. I went back. I was like, holy crap, Mary, my wife called it.
Also, I had you and Sam on my fantasy team, and peaked, and
You
I will
swept,
never.
huh?
She didn't win.
I will never get that high again. The voting is what got me, the weekly voting. But just having both of you on my tribe was beautiful. It was so fun.
And to think you didn't.
I love that for you.
Yeah,
so bad.
it's always the voting that gets me. I don't know.
I was so hyped on Sierra. I thought Sierra had it in the bag for sure that season. And then we should have voted off. I was not devastated, but I was shocked. I was like, I thought for sure it was Sierra.
No, it was Rachel all time.
I was also shocked and devastated. So.
Rachel's watching the episodes after having already won. She's like, what? Sierra got voted off?
What?
All right, let's move on to trivia question of the week. This is where Rebekah and I ask each other a trivia question. And Rachel, you are allowed, or if you don't want to help somebody, you don't have to. But you're definitely allowed to help us with our trivia questions for each other. As we try to hit each other with...
Please help me
what's
and
the
give
score?
Wesley bad information.
What's the score,
Because you're
Rebekah?
beating me, Wesley. I have 3 points. You have 4. So I need...
That's one.
It's an underdog story.
That's 1 point.
So Rachel, I need your help.
Underdog.
Okay.
Listen. No pressure, but I need your help to win.
I mean, it's just 1 point. That's not a big deal. Anyways, go ahead and ask your question first then, Rebekah, and then I'll give you mine.
All right. So, Wesley, your question is, what is the most recent season where every finalist shared the same birth year?
Oh my gosh.
So just to clarify, it doesn't mean that they
can
were
I answer
the
this
same
without
age.
multiple choice? I can do this without multiple choice.
Okay, but just to clarify, it doesn't mean that they're all the same age. It just means that they were born in the same year. So just to clarify that, but yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, I want your multiple
like.
choice now that you've said that. I had the answer. Okay.
So your options are season 45, season 44, Tocantins, or Panama.
Son of a gun. All right, so Panama was Aris and Danielle. Shoot, were they the same age, if not super close? Tocantins was Steven and JT. I do think they're different years, even though they're close in age. I don't think it's that one. 45 was my initial answer because I believe that D, Jake, and who was the GOAT? No, Jake was the GOAT. Austin. I think they're all the same age. Yeah, Austin, D, and Jake are all the same age.
And then the other option.
I think you might be right about that.
I'm going to go with Panama.
Okay, is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
You were so close to getting it right. The correct answer is 45.
Oh, I should have ignored multiple choice.
You should have. You should have gone with your gut.
Yeah.
But yeah, technically Panama is correct as well, but season 45 was just the most recent where it happened.
Oh, the question is most recent? Oh,
yes.
I thought it was just the one time it happened. Shoot. Okay. Yeah, I should have listened.
it's happened multiple times. Also, season 45 is the only time it's happened when there were 3 people in the final. So for whatever that's worth, extra fun fact. But yeah.
Shoot, I should have
All right,
listened.
well,
Dang
it. Held on to just you being 1 point ahead of me. So let's see if I can tie it up here.
Okay. Well, your question is, who got in a fight with Jonathan Penner in Cook Islands because he did not share the fish? Your options are A, Ozzy, B, Candace, C, Nate, or D, Jenny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh man.
I do not remember.
It's okay. I just watched it today.
Yeah.
That's why I remember.
My gut instinct is... See, at first I was thinking Ozzy because I know he was like the one doing a lot of the fishing. So I think there might have been something where he was like upset with someone for like eating all the fish that he had caught. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say Ozzy.
My only gut instinct was that it was a woman.
Yeah, that's fair. Because my second thought was it might have been Candace, because I feel like
that's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't remember this scene. I just feel like I don't remember Penner and Ozzy fighting over fish. Like that doesn't like feel right to me.
How was the question phrased? You said that they were fighting over
Who got in a fight with Jonathan Penner on Cook Islands because he did not share the fish with them?
Okay.
Like he didn't share the fish with them, therefore they got mad at him.
There's no way he didn't eat the fish if he was the one fishing, right? Like that would have been a big enough moment.
Penner and Ozzy were both fishing like madmen this season.
Yeah. Here's my issue though, is that Wesley got in trouble by not following his gut, and my initial gut was Ozzy.
This is your point. This is your. I'm not, and I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you, but I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say Ozzy. It might be Candace, but my final answer is Ozzy.
That is incorrect. It was Candace.
Oh, dang it. I shouldn't have listened to my gut.
Should have listened to Rachel.
No.
The reason is because this is episode 12, the episode where Candace gets voted off. And she was in the shelter making out with Adam while Parvati's like, this is really awkward. And Penner and Ozzy and Yul were like, what? We should just eat this fish. Like, they don't ever help us with the fish. We should just eat them. They don't cook. They don't clean. They don't catch them. Nothing. And so she comes out there, and who does she get mad at, despite the fact they're all doing it? She gets mad at Penner. And Penner's like, he's like, that's bollocks, Candace. And so they got in a whole fight. And it's a really good fight to rewatch. Not that you need to rewatch the whole season, but just that fight. It was a really good fight to watch.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch that. That sounds very entertaining. I wish I remembered it.
It was her boot episode too, because I think she knew she was going, basically. It was because it was not long before Tribal that they were fighting about this. She's like, what the heck? You're not sharing the fish? So anyways, yeah. So,
well, our epic battle continues. You still have 4 points. I still have 3 points. So we'll see who's the victor by the end of the season.
Rome's helping us next week, and he might be able to help you. All right, let's move on to your all's questions. As always, as soon as the episode's done, ask for all those questions here on YouTube, and we will answer them. All right, so first one actually is for you, Rachel, from DMMVD. It's a bunch of letters. Question for Rachel.
I thought you were going to say from D.
Dude, there's a lot of letters here. No, not from 45.
Oh, man.
Question for Rachel. What is your favorite moment this season on 49?
Oh, you know what? It's got to be, like, I remember being in the womb.
Oh, by Shannon?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was so iconic.
Yeah, most of what Shannon said was iconic. Well, for
most
good or for
of
bad.
what Shannon said is probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to answer this next one, Rachel, another question for you. Benson asked, did you get a call about Survivor 50? Are you allowed to answer that?
I don't know. I don't think I'm not allowed to answer that. I did not get a call, so I don't know how that went against the rules saying that I didn't get a call.
I thought for sure all the On Fire co-hosts would have got asked, considering the cast.
All of them were on there except me. Yeah, weird.
I know. I'm not being sarcastic. I was actually surprised that you weren't even. Okay. All right.
Next question is from Valerie. What is the better/fair advantage in a split tribal? The gift that you got, Rachel, from Saul, or what Savannah got this episode?
Yeah, I mean, I say we don't need the split tribal or the advantage.
There you go.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Why are we creating a problem and then creating an artificial solution for the artificial problem? Like, that's the like,
that's
problem, right? Like, so what is fair? It's not fair that I was swap screwed in a way that was like impossible. It's also maybe not fair that Tiana went home as a result of that, but like, you know, it's like, I don't think either should have happened. So, yeah.
All right.
Can we refocus the problem on the split tribal instead of like the advantage itself?
Right. I prefer that instead of doing split tribal, that if they're going to do, I also don't like maybe when instead of split tribal, they did this a couple times, or maybe they did the same seasons. I don't know, where they like, we have 9 people. Let's do 3 groups of 3 for immunity. To me, that feels unfair. I think it's the one that Gabe won. Maybe I could be wrong.
Were they split
everyone up? That was reward, not immunity.
Okay.
Well, actually, it was immunity, but it was, it like drilled down. So it was like one person gets immunity, but like 4 people get reward. I don't have a serious problem with that.
Sure.
It was basically like one of those competitions where it's like multiple rounds. Every round, a group or 2 gets eliminated, and then the last 4 do an individual immunity challenge. It's like a little laborious, but I don't think there's anything like unfair about it. Yeah, I think group immunity post merge is weird.
All right. Last question's from the Rebel Dog. Will Savannah turn on Rizgod at some point? Rebekah, what do you think?
I mean, I don't really see a reason to at this point. And to be honest, like, Rizgod has the most power that, as far as Savannah knows, Rizgod has the most power out of the 3 of them. I mean, she has an extra vote, which is helpful, but like, yeah, having an idol is really big, and she doesn't know about Sophie's knowledge is power. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I guess I wouldn't put it beyond the realm of possibility, but like, he's proven himself to be a very loyal ally. So I don't know why she would turn on him at this point. So I don't know, maybe, but I kind of doubt it at this point.
Do you agree, Rachel, or are you thinking that
I
She
think
can
it's
turn on
too
him.
tough to say at this point because right now, yeah, they're tight. You need someone you can trust. We're not that deep in the game. Like we got a lot of game to go, right? So you need the ally. She doesn't have many of them. So there's no, like, her turning on him now would be just silly. Like, why is she burning one of the only real bridges she has? And he is like a shinier target than her. So there's just no like advantage to that, right? Like why as long as he has this public idol, people are going to look at him before they look at her. And she got implicit immunity from his idol last week. So like why would she burn that?
Yeah.
You know, like there's no like it's only upside for her right now. Maybe that will change, but like there's no I think it would be crazy for her to turn on him right now or anytime, you know, in the very near future.
Rizgod would need to turn on her first for her to consider.
Yeah, I think it makes way more sense for him to do it to her than the other way around. And even then, it's still it's very early. Like, let's not. When there's still how many people left in the game? 10?
9.
9. Yeah.
9. It's still early enough that you don't go burning. Like you have like 3 allies, you can't burn 1 or 2 of them. That's like most of your allies.
Right.
Yeah.
Rachel, I have a question from me. Hi, I'm the host. My question is, did you know that when you were filming 47 that the finale is gonna be 2 parts?
No, we did not.
All right, let's move on to the very last section of the podcast. Plot twist, Rachel, I don't think I told you this, but this season we've been doing a movie review every week.
And this week it's Rebekah's week to pick a movie, and I hope you've seen. I mean, you may have probably seen this one. Rebekah, what are you reviewing this week?
All right, so this week I am reviewing Wicked Part 1, to be clear, because Part 2 is coming out
next week.
A week from today when you're listening to this, or a week from tomorrow. So this is a movie adaptation of a very famous musical. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like the 2nd longest running musical on Broadway or something. It's one of the big ones. It's like Phantom, Les Mis, and Wicked are like the big 3. So, this is a movie that I love this movie very dearly. It came out a year ago and I've seen it, I think 5 or 6 times. Basically, like, just to give a little context for like when I first watched this movie, I went into it very skeptical because I wasn't a big fan of the fact that they split the musical up into 2 parts. So this movie is part 1 and then they're releasing part 2 separately a year later. So at first I wasn't a big fan of that. They also added about an hour to the runtime for part 1. So
and they still cut songs, didn't they?
I don't think they cut songs.
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest, I am not super familiar with the music from the original, which I know is like heresy for anyone who likes musical theater, but I've heard the songs, but I haven't listened to them a ton. So I don't believe they cut any songs from this. But they did, I was just worried that it was going to really drag, that it's part 1 and they're just, dragging it out. But honestly, I sat down in the theater. The other thing I wasn't sure about going into it was Ariana Grande as Glinda, because I was worried that I was just going to be distracted by seeing Ariana Grande the whole time. But yeah, I sat down in that theater and like the first song, I mean, Ariana Grande just blows it out of the water. I mean, she has an incredible voice and she disappears into the role in just like a really great way. And then I guess I should say, just if you don't know, the story is basically sort of like in the world of The Wizard of Oz, but it's the story of the 2 witches. So it's the Wicked Witch of the West and then Glinda, the Good Witch. And so it's like their story. It takes place before, during, and after the story of The Wizard of Oz. So Dorothy is like a very minor character in part 2 of Wicked. But yeah, we're mostly just following the 2 witches and their friendship turned like enemies and just, their whole journey. So that's kind of the story, and the music is incredible. This movie, it's just on a scale that I don't think we've seen in a really long time in terms of like musicals being adapted to movies. I was trying to think of like what the most recent comparison to this would be in terms of like quality and scale. And I really think like maybe The Sound of Music. Like I think it's literally been that long since we've gotten a movie like this. I'm a big fan. I really love this movie. To be honest, like I could do a whole podcast just talking about how good the music is, how the mixing for the music is incredible. They sang all the songs live. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo sang all of their songs live and on set. And so I don't know, I have nothing negative to say about this movie, honestly. Like it's literally one of my favorite movies. And I believe it is streaming for free on Peacock right now if people want to watch it. But honestly, it's worth owning. Like I would buy it. And if you get a chance to go see it in theaters, with the release of part 2, they're doing like where you can go see a double feature. So you can see part 1 and part 2 at the same time. If you are able to go see it, I would highly recommend it because it's just it's a movie that you want to experience in the theaters because again, just like the scale and the magic of it is like, I don't know, it's just such an experience. It's like, yeah, you want to sit in a theater and just like see it on a big screen. So, Wesley, have you seen this movie?
I have, but I was going to ask Rachel, have you seen this movie?
You mentioned some blasphemy earlier, and not only have I not seen Wicked,
I'm so sorry.
I don't know that I have ever seen the play.
I've never seen the play either.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I am wildly unfamiliar with Wicked, other than I know it's
okay.
like Wicked about space.
Rachel, when I said there's a movie review, she's like, oh! And then we said the movie, she's like, oh, I don't know this one.
No, not at all. No, my reaction was like, I am not a big movie person, so I'm probably not going to know this.
That's
and
fair.
I was hoping it was something obscure enough that I wouldn't be embarrassed, but
nah, that's okay.
Oh, man, yeah.
I have seen Wicked, Rebekah, to answer your question, and I think that it shouldn't have been 2 parts, which I know is not what you said. In fact, I guess I'm the opposite. I thought it was very mid, but I do. The thing is, I like musicals. The Great Showman is a great movie. I know La La Land maybe is not pure musical, but I really like La La Land. I will say it. I like all 3 High School Musicals. I know those aren't good movies, but I like them. So
putting those in the same conversation is crazy work.
High
I
School
don't disagree,
Musical
but
3
that's crazy.
And Wicked, same quality.
For sure. Same scale.
Same scale. To answer your question about scale, Sound of Music. Well, High School Musical 3. It was a theatrical movie. Anyways,
don't forget about that one.
Wicked to me was just okay. I think I guess my actual issue with the movie was the colors were kind of muted, and I felt like colors should have been more vibrant.
I'm glad that you brought this up because I did want to talk about that. That was something that a lot of people had criticisms for with this movie was the color because everyone's like, oh, it's the Wizard of Oz. It's supposed to be like very colorful and stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say I don't necessarily fully disagree with that, but I do think that they used the color grading in this movie to tell a story. So it starts very, very bland and very like desaturated, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But as the friendship grows and as we're following these characters and we're kind of following along on their journey, it does become more colorful. And especially like once they get to the city of Oz and it's, it's supposed to be this big spectacle and everything, that's when it really like you really get more of that saturation and more of that color brought in. So, I mean, I don't fully disagree with you. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but like, I guess to me, it's just, it wasn't distracting enough for me to be like, this movie is not enjoyable, especially because to me, the emphasis of this movie is the music and the singing and all of that. So I don't know, the color correction doesn't really affect that, but that's just my opinion. I know everyone has different perspectives and everyone sees different things when they're watching movies. So, but I'm really curious to see how it flows when you watch both movies back to back, because I think that extending both of them, because the second part is longer as well, I believe. And they did add a couple songs to the second part.
The second part's longer. The first part was 2 hours and 40 minutes. Holy cannoli.
Sorry, I mean the second, to be clear, I think the second part is longer than it is in the play.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think it's longer than the first movie.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 5-hour movie.
It's a 6-hour movie, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I have tickets for both of them, and I think it was like 5.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
No, 5 hours?
Lord of the Rings?
I forget exactly what it was. Well, actually, wait, that would make the second one longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but my point is that I think by extending it, I think we get more little moments with the two of them, And I think ultimately that's going to help their character arcs as you watch part 1 and part 2 back to back. But I don't know. I could be hyping it up and then part 2 comes out and everyone hates it and this will age really poorly. But I guess we'll find out next week. That's it.
No worries. I only promised Rachel that it would take us 90 minutes to record this, but it ended up being longer than both parts of Wicked combined.
Listen, you already know you're going to have to cut out like 30 hours of content from this podcast. You do it every week. So, that's just how it goes.
Every week we record for 3 days straight. All right. Well, hey, let's wrap this sucker up. Thanks everyone for listening. Next week we'll have a special guest, though I think I already said it was Rome. So Rome's with us next week, so we'll keep it on theme with 47. So thank you all for listening and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.